There's a moment in the movie Greyhound that stayed with me far longer than the action scenes. After an enemy ship is sunk, the crew celebrates. Someone shouts, 50 Germans killed, and Captain Krause, played by Tom Hanks, just quietly replies, yes, 50 souls. That one sentence raises a question most of us avoid. How do we see our enemies? Most of us don't think of ourselves as cruel people, but when we feel threatened, hurt, or afraid, something changes. We stop seeing people and start seeing categories, enemies, opponents, them. And once someone becomes a label, it becomes much easier to dismiss their humanity. The problem isn't only what conflict does to the other side, it's what it does to us. That line in Greyhound doesn't deny the reality of war. Captain Krause still does his duty. The threat is real, the danger is real, but he refuses to let victory turn into celebration of dehumanization. The phrase 50 Germans is a statistic. 50 souls is a moral statement. He's saying, even in necessary conflict, I will not surrender my ability to see human beings. And that really matters, because history shows us that when we stop seeing souls, we become capable of almost anything. Dehumanizing our enemies feels practical. It simplifies the world. It protects us emotionally. If they're just numbers, we don't have to grieve. If they're just labels, we don't have to wrestle with complexity. But there's a cost. Every time we reduce a person to a category, something in us hardens or even dies. And eventually, that hardness doesn't stay limited to our enemies. It spills into how we treat everyone. There's a similar tension in the movie Hacksaw Ridge. Desmond Doss refuses to carry a weapon, not because he denies evil, but because he refuses to stop seeing people as people. Even while surrounded by enemies, his prayer is simple. Please, Lord, help me get one more. Not one more victory, one more person, a human being. That film reminds us that moral clarity isn't found in cruelty. It's found in compassion under pressure. This way of seeing enemies isn't new. I mean, Jesus taught this long before modern warfare. He said that you have heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That's really radical. That teaching is often misunderstood. Jesus is not saying pretend evil doesn't exist, quite to the contrary, or allow abuse or abandon justice. He is saying something far more challenging. Do not allow hatred to decide who you become. Loving your enemy doesn't mean approving their actions. It means refusing to erase their humanity, even when opposing them is necessary. The clearest example of this is the cross itself. Jesus is surrounded by enemies. He's mocked, he's rejected, and condemned. And instead of returning hatred, he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That isn't weakness. That is moral strength at its highest level. It's the refusal to let suffering turn into hatred. Most of us will never face enemies on a battlefield, but we face them every day in similar ways. People who hurt us, people we disagree with, people we label and dismiss. Greyhound asks us a quiet but dangerous question. Have we stopped seeing souls? Because the moment we do, the conflict outside us begins to shape the darkness inside us. Seeing your enemy as a soul doesn't make you naive. It makes you human. And according to Jesus, it's one of the clearest signs of spiritual maturity. I'd love to hear your thoughts, not who you agree with necessarily, but how this challenges the way you see others. Let's keep the conversation honest and respectful, and please don't forget to subscribe and like what you've seen so that we can make a lot more of these spiritual conversational videos. Until next time.